Uvalde Radio, your concert station, Uncle Lucius and all the Angelinos, man. We're excited to have those guys here in Uvalde County tomorrow, Saturday, headlining Ameritopia Fest. And it's going to be a great time. So many great artists. And as far as we know, our first time to see Uncle Lucius here in Uvalde County. And to get us pumped up, primed up, and ready for the show, with me on the phone from Uncle Lucius, it's Kevin Galloway. Welcome, sir. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great, man. We're kind of stoked about this. Now, I know you guys are a big deal. You've been around for a while, or you were around for a while, and then you took a little hiatus. Now you're back. But you're pretty new to me, new to us. I'm a new fan. I'll call myself, we'll say a second-gen fan. And so I'm going to ask you some questions you've probably been asked a zillion times, but I hope you'll bear with me on that, okay?
Heck yeah.
So first of all, headlining Ameritopia Fest, it's a pretty big endeavor for Uvalde County. We don't do big music festivals like this too often, so everybody around here is pretty excited about it. How often do you guys get out to Uvalde County? Do you ever get out to the rivers? Do you ever just drive through?
I've driven through a couple of times, but I've not spent a lot of time there. So no, the band has never played in Uvalde County, so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
So you guys are a big deal, and we're happy to have you guys. So again, you're headlining Saturday, tomorrow night. I believe 10:30 is what the time says. It says here, Uncle Lucius, 10:30 until they kick us out. And you're sharing the stage with Statesboro Review, Colton James and Company, the Stott Brothers, Reed Brothers, and more. Any bands on the bill that you're aware of that are running buddies, that are good friends that you're looking forward to either meeting for the first time or hooking back up with?
I'm looking forward to Statesboro Review. We've played a few shows with them. Back in the day, they used to run the roads a lot with us, starting a decade ago, but I've not seen those guys in 5 or 6 years, and they're great. It's two brothers that built a band, and so they've got that thing together. It's a great band.
Like I said, I know you guys have a storied past. You have a really big history, big deal. But for those who are hearing about Uncle Lucius and all they really know is all the Angelinos has heard here on our station, Uvalde Radio, give us the quick bio, as much as you want to kind of give us the quick of it all.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, I quit my job as a banker in my mid-20s and moved to Austin to play music because that was the closest place they were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And delved into it, decided I needed to start a band, found some like-minded people. We started a band, got it going in around 2006, put our first album out, and then we just hit the road. From 2006 or late 2005 to 2018, we toured the country numerous times, went to Europe a couple of times, put out, I think we did, at that time, 5 studio albums, and just did the thing. And, we put out a song in the year 2012 called Keep the Wolves Away, which was a true story about my father and a chemical accident he was in. I grew up south of Houston in Freeport, Texas, and so that's a true story. It's a blue-collar story. It was our most popular song starting in 2012, and it was until the end in 2018. And but it was just time for us to call it quits, move on. No animosity. It was just 100 different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So we dropped the microphone, and we were done and moved on. A couple of years later, Keep the Wolves Away is picked up by Yellowstone, the popular show that was started on Paramount.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a new fervor for the band because of it. That song went gold, and then it went platinum. When it went gold, we got back together to celebrate and decided we liked each other. And we said, you know what, let's start this thing again. So in 2023, 5 years after we thought it was all over, we got back on the road. And we've been doing it since then. So about a year and a half back at it. Version 2.0, we added a player. We got a new bass player, and I think we're better than ever. Write great songs, put out another album, recording another one, got another one written. So we're just blowing and going. And so whoever's going to catch us in Uvalde County is going to get a version 2.0 that's very pro, and I promise it's going to be a really great live show, and we leave it all on the stage.
I can hear the pride and excitement in your voice, and I don't even know you, man. So this is fantastic. Again, we got Kevin Galloway on the phone. He's from Uncle Lucius, and I mean, what a great story to have, to put something to rest and then have it kind of blow up on its own. Tell me this: during that 5, 6, 7 year break, however long it was, how much contact did you have with the other guys, and how many of the original guys are back in the band?
So, we always maintained a little bit of contact. We care for each other and rooting for each other because everybody else, started other projects or got in other bands or were doing recording stuff. I started a solo thing, did a couple of albums. I actually had the keys player played on a couple of my solo albums. So we kind of stayed in touch loosely because we were rooting for each other, in whatever we were doing. One guy trained to become an electrician, and so he was out of music, and it just didn't pan out. So right when it didn't pan out, we were ready to do this again, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, and we're all kind of doing that. So, we never really lost touch 100%.
And here you are back at it again. So you got the new record. Let's talk about getting back in the studio. First of all, how did you amass the new material? Was it a band writing experience, or are you the main guy that kind of puts the music out there and then the band collaborates afterwards? Tell us how the latest album came to fruition.
Yeah, so I'll backtrack a little bit. When we ended in 2018, like I said, I did a couple of in that 5 years we were off, I did a couple of my own solo records where I wrote most of the stuff. But one of my best friends in the world and the guy that co-founded the band with me, his name's Hal Vorpal. He was the first bass player. He and I both wrote. We kind of co-wrote. He wrote one, I wrote one, and we just pick what was this. I was always the singer. I felt lucky that I got to sing these great songs that he's writing too and kind of put my own voice to them. But anyway, when we got back together, Hal had been writing like crazy, but he didn't want to tour anymore, so he didn't join the band, but he took the role of producer.
Ah.
And he had this stack of songs that he showed to me. They were kind of, demoed out and, him singing, and he doesn't like his voice so much, but I do. I think he should do his own album. That's a tangent. But anyway, these songs that he played for me, I loved a lot of them, and the ones that I really felt, I said, I want to try to sing that. I think we should put that on the album. So of the 10 that we released, Hal wrote 7. I wrote 2, co-wrote or wrote 2, and then there's another one written by another member of the band. So we all kind of write. On this newest one, it was because he's been writing so much and had this great material. A lot of them are his. And he also produced the album, so there's a lot of Hal Vorpal's touch on this. He's like our silent 7th member. And then, like I said, we're in the studio again right now. We got 6 already recorded, and it's the same thing. There's a cover, there's some co-writes, there's a few I've written, there's a couple Hal's written. It's just about what we feel is the best song, and we're going to play to that. It's everything gets put on the table, and we together pick it.
Well, again, like I said, I'm a new fan. We're new fans around here. But for your long time, your ride or dies that have been with you guys since the beginning. How would you compare the newer material, the stuff that's out now, and the stuff that's to come, versus your earlier material that they're all very familiar with?
I think I like to always say, if you take it from the beginning, if you find our first album out there in the world somewhere and go through the whole thing, and I take a lot of pride in this, there's definitely an evolution. Mm-hmm. We're just better songwriters, we're better musicians, we're also more mature. Started in the mid-20s, and now, I'm in my mid-40s, so there's a lot that comes with that, and we're just better, and I think people want that you can. There's a tie to it because it's familiar, but it's also, I think we're always trying to push it forward. It's always been American roots music to me, so there's touches of country and blues and soul and rock and roll and psychedelia, all of those things, and they just kind of morph into its own thing with the familiarity. So the Ride or Die, the people have heard it from the beginning. It's familiar, and it's okay. A lot of those people, they kind of like that we push it forward and keep going.
Yeah.
That's why they stuck around with us,
Yeah, true fans like to see you evolve, and that's fantastic. Now, I know you guys, I would say this, it probably wasn't at the time, but I think that, when years go by, you have the hindsight, the benefit of having worked with, from what I understand, like a Nashville-type label, kind of getting that signing deal, maybe not working out for you, and then doing a crowdfunding thing. Sounds like you guys have kind of been in the business long enough to kind of try different ways to getting that music out. Music, even though you guys weren't gone that long, I mean, the industry just changes so rapidly these days since the advent of streaming and whatnot. What tricks do you got up your sleeves now? What have you learned over the years as you head into this next chapter that you feel are valuable, lessons learned?
I guess on the production side and the recording, we have a place we really like to record. We get it done very efficiently. And then once we get it out there, like you said, man, this industry is in constant flux. And it changes even faster now. It just seems, like you said, the advent of streaming and everything. Like, here's one thing. We don't really buy anymore. We don't buy many CDs anymore to sell. We have a few.
Yeah.
But vinyl's had a resurgence, so we sell more vinyl. We put all the old stuff on vinyl. There's that trick. And we're also a little more than we used to be. I mean, we started out in the MySpace
right.
phase.
Yeah.
That's when the band started, and so it's very different now. But, we have management, and we have, we put our finger into a little everything on all the socials and everything and get people out. Spotify, it doesn't pay a lot of money, but it's a tool to get eyes on your stuff and to get people out to your shows, so we use it a bit. That's a very new thing for us. But, we try to just stay on top of where it is and get people to the shows. And then if we can get people to the shows, we feel like we can make some fans for life.
So obviously it sounds like you guys have adjusted to the modern ways of doing music and again, hitting the road and putting stuff out. Tell me this, though, because in just a few years, a man's life can change a lot, whether through marriage, kids, divorce, etc. How was that reset personally? And I don't want not too personal if you don't want to, but I'm sure some of you guys are married now, or other factors are involved. What has that been like adjusting?
I can speak for myself personally. Yeah, I'm married. I have a couple of kids now. I feel very lucky I married the right person. She used to tour manage Ray Wiley Hubbard. I don't know if you know that guy.
Cool, yeah.
And she knows the road and is also a fan of music and actually a bigger rock star than I'll ever be. But so she understands it, and the kids do too. And they're young enough that we do a lot of homeschooling. So especially my solo years when they were real young, and now even they travel a lot with us sometimes. Not all the time, but they can get to shows and they can go out there, and they're just used to that kind of a lifestyle. I feel lucky in that sense. One of the other guys has a wife and kids, and they understand our schedule, and we make the most of it. Especially he's the only other one in the band that's married with kids. When we make plans for the future, we always make sure that we have them in mind, and we try to find an equilibrium. We try to be men on the road, but also family men, and try to find that middle ground.
Fantastic. Again, we're talking to Kevin Galloway. He's from Uncle Lucius. They're performing tomorrow, Saturday night, headlining Ameritopia Fest in Utopia at the Blue Flame. If you need more information or tickets, go to ameritopiafest.com. The festival does kick off today, 12 noon, with our friend Paige Lewis. So again, get all the details at ameritopiafest.com. Kevin, I know you guys have been in the Austin scene, in and out of that circuit for a while. What's happening in Austin? Give me a shout out to any cool bands, names we should look out for, or maybe artists that are just on our radar that need more love.
Well, I'll give a shout out to the old school stuff that's still happening there, like great songwriters like James McMurtry or Alejandro Escovedo. They're always doing the good things. And then, there's some new bands, and there's a cool scene at a place called Sam's Town Point. There's a band called the Sentimental Family Band. Great woman lead singer, kind of traditional country, but just really cool stuff. I'd look out for them. There's a couple of bands, a band called the Mellows I've gotten into lately. There's a lot of things going on. And I live a couple of hours outside of town now. I lived in Austin for almost 20 years, but I'm there a lot for recording and for music and to meet the band for band calls. So I'm not as in touch with what's going on so much day to day. But I'm telling you, it's alive and well for sure.
Well, very good. Now, we're happy to have Uncle Lucius here in Uvalde County, but we are pretty much still at the top of summer. What are the plans for the rest of summer and going into the fall? You got any cool other festivals, high-profile shows, any string of tour dates you want to talk about?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Really cool thing is about to happen. We're July 5th, we're going to start a tour in Nashville, Tennessee at the Ryman. We're going to play with our friends Silverado.
Oh, wow.
They used to be called Mike and the Moon Pies.
Yeah.
Never played the Ryman. I've never even been to the Ryman. I've walked by it outside, and I'm pretty excited about the first time I'm showing up. I'm going to play on the stage. And then from there, we're going to go all the way up to Buffalo, New York, and back. Points in between. Nice little tour. Do some regional stuff, and then in the fall, we're going to Australia and to Europe. A whole month. We'll fly to Australia, do a couple of big festivals and some shows, fly to Germany, do all of Europe, and then come home. And then we'll take about 2 weeks off and sleep.
Man, those are big, big plans, man. That is exciting stuff, man. Now, I got to say this. As a member of the Texas Country Red Dirt community, I want to say thank you because a lot of not every band puts their music out to Texas radio. So by you releasing your song specifically to Texas radio markets with all the Angelinos, you giving us the opportunity to prop up your songs and get excited about what you guys are up to. So I hope you guys will continue to do so. Any plans on putting out more stuff to radio or maybe even doing a national push at any point?
Yeah, definitely. We did a simultaneous national push with that tune and other tunes. And I think it's tune specific, depending on, like I said, we don't, some of our songs don't fit into maybe the Texas radio that they're seeing, but some of them do. So depending on the song, we make the choice then. But I can almost guarantee you'll see another Uncle Lucius tune at Texas radio.
Now, we got to talk about this because All the Angelinos is just such a cool song. Obviously, we in Texas, we laugh about, that kind of stuff. It sounds like, and from the look of that kind of surprise ending in the music video, seems like you guys kind of have a love-hate with the relationship with the Angelinos. What's the inspiration on that? Was it one of the ones you wrote? Or give us a backstory on that, because I know that a lot of our listeners really dig that song.
Well, fantastic. So first, when I define an Angelino, it is not a word I made up. It is actually, if you look in the dictionary, an Angelino is somebody from Los Angeles, California. Mm-hmm. So there goes that. But it's with the idea of that, like Hollywood and California folks or whatever. And let me say this up front. I believe everyone's welcome wherever they need to be.
Yeah.
But I was just expressing a sentiment that is very much a sentiment, especially like in Austin and South Austin, where things have really changed with the influx of people from another place. Mm-hmm. A lot of musicians can't live in Austin anymore, living on the outskirts, because it's unaffordable. And these things happen when, like I put it in the song, they're moving down to Texas where the burden of the tax so lax. These are bigger things. These are bigger mass migrations that happen in history. And I'm just reflecting the moment and then how it kind of, is with us. I wrote that song inspired by standing in a coffee shop in South Austin where I lived for 20 years, and things were very different. And the clientele were different. And there were a lot of Los Angeles Dodgers hats. And I'm like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on now. And I was just expressing that sentiment. And it's also, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek. I like to use a little bit of satire and comedy at it because, it is a love-hate. It's a sentiment. It's a positive, negative, like everything else. And it's okay. But it was just kind of a reflection of the moment, if you will.
It's a fun song, especially for Texas radio, so we appreciate you guys pushing it out our way. Again, it's Kevin Galloway from Uncle Lucius. Again, they're headlining tomorrow, Saturday night, at Ameritopia Fest in Utopia, Texas, Uvalde County. We're excited to have the band here in Uvalde County for, I guess, the very first time. I know you're super busy, man. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the interview, play that song you mentioned earlier, Keep the Wolves Away. For any of our listeners who are hearing it for the first time, give us the rundown again on that. I know you mentioned it earlier, but the quick inspiration on that song, because it really is a really cool story.
Yeah, man, it's a true story. I grew up in Freeport, Texas. My father worked in the chemical plants that surrounded my neighborhood. And, he worked his way up. I graduated high school and was sweeping floors, and he worked his way up in all of these chemical plants. And then he joined this disaster response team and got all this training to clean up chemical spills and put out chemical fires, and got a call down in Galveston, Texas, 45 minutes from our house. And there was an explosion, industrial explosion on a tanker ship that they were cleaning up a chemical spill on, and he was hurt. He shouldn't have made it through the night. He made it, and then this is the story of how it affected our family and kind of where it is in the present. And there's actually a video on YouTube for it that tells the story as well, and that's actually my parents are in the final scene watching us play that song in a venue in South Austin called Saxon Pub that we kind of started out in. So every word is literally true, and it's a blue collar story. And I tell you what, I like to always say this: I'm thankful and grateful that if it was one, it was that one that got big, because it's not inauthentic at all. It's a real story, and a lot of people open up to me and are thankful to me because it helps them in a place. That YouTube video, if you go to the comment section, there are thousands of comments, like new people every day saying, "Thank you. This reminds me of my struggle or my family's struggle with this thing, keeping the wolves away, just trying to provide for your family and doing the best you can and being stand up, So, man, that's what that one's about. I'm always grateful and thankful that one showed up.
It's a fantastic song, and man, I mean, I get chills watching it, hearing it, and hearing you talk about it, man. So thank you for sharing your art and your story with us. Again, it's Kevin Galloway, Uncle Lucius, and they are performing tomorrow, headlining at Ameritopia Fest and in Utopia. So go to ameritopiafest.com, get those tickets, and do not miss this show. Here it is, Keep the Wolves Away. This is Uncle Lucius wrapping it up with Kevin Galloway. We are Uvalde Radio. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.